Hello there. Greetings and welcome once again to Roman of the Empire. I am your host, Roman. Today we are going to talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi episodes 1 and 2 on Disney Plus Star Wars. So, this picks up 10 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith. Contains some elements of the Clone Wars and Rebels, if you've seen those, and I assume you have. Deborah Chow was the director of this. I don't know if she's directing all the episodes, but 1 and 2. Remember, this is only a 6-episode run, so there's not a lot. There's 4 more episodes. We've seen a third of the show already. She did American Gods, The Mandalorian, which most of us loved, Man in the High Castle, which I was a big fan of, Better Call Saul, and some of Jessica Jones, which is also a good show. So they have a top-notch director coming into this. You've got, of course, Ian McGregor as Obi-Wan. Hayden Christensen will be reprising Darth Vader, and if you don't know that, then I don't know where you've been. Joel Edgerton as Owen Lars. You remember him from the end of Revenge of the Sith. You know, old Uncle Owen, except as a younger man. Rupert Friend as the Grand Inquisitor. Moses Ingram as Reva, the third sister. And Sun Kang as fifth brother. So the Inquisitors are characters who were from Clone Wars and Rebels, and we'll talk about them in a sec. Vivian Lyra Blair as young Leia Organa. Jimmy Smith reprises his role from the prequels as Bail Organa. And oddly enough, Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers as what we will call Kidnapper number 1. So, I wasn't sure what to expect out of this show. Disney Plus had an unexpected hit with The Mandalorian, and an equally unexpected flop with the Book of Boba Fett. You can watch the demise of my morality as that show goes on, and I just became very unhappy. So now it's 10 years later, and we're on Tatooine with Obi-Wan. All right. And you've seen the film, so you know where this is. He is on Tatooine to watch over Luke as a caretaker in the distance. So John Williams did the title music for this. Not all the music for this, but the title music. That's something. But I got to admit, I wasn't thrilled with the pace of the show. Was certainly episode 1 was very slow. Episode 2... we'll get into some details in a minute. I just want to go over some of the basic stuff, and then we're definitely going to go into spoilers, though, because I can't talk about this if we don't. And the visuals in the show, I wasn't thrilled with those either. Sorry, I didn't want to hate watch the show. I wanted to. I had hopes, but I knew I was going into some dangerous waters, given the history of what Disney has given us. So, episode 1 is actually pretty depressing. If you're on meds, I don't necessarily recommend it. I was hoping they were going to pull out all the stops on this, budget-wise, certainly writing as well. We get some of that same not fantastic dialogue that we've seen even in the prequels under George Lucas's watch. The dialogue wasn't great, and then the sequels. So I didn't get an improvement here. Is it? I'm going to throw out right now. Is it better than Boba Fett? It's a yes. Not as good as The Mandalorian. Just not. Even with Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan, and he does an okay job. He's Obi-Wan. He was my favorite part of the prequels. He's going to be the best part of this show. And then there's the big but the writing, but the visuals, but the everything else, and you keep having to do that with Star Wars now, and it's unfortunate. So, it looks like, as I said, Disney plus Star Wars. It has a look that's not dissimilar to Boba Fett, and that wasn't a great visual. So it's all desert stuff. The pace is slow. You see a fair amount of Obi-Wan in the show. It's not, I was a little bit worried that he was going to get shoved off to the side. That isn't the case. But there are big chunks of time where you are focusing on other events. So I guess here's the short of it before I can start talking about stuff. I would wait. This is me. You can avoid the media or not. I don't think it's really going to matter a whole lot because you know how the story kind of ends, right? You've seen Star Wars. So I'd wait for it to be done. Wait for all 6 episodes to be done and then watch it all at once. This isn't one I think you need to just be, oh boy, every week. I'm going to do that so you don't have to. Maybe it's going to get better. There's always that hope. You can't just say, oh, it's going to be miserable, and it stays miserable. There were elements that were okay, but as a whole, not digging it right off the bat. I'm sorry. I wanted to like the show, and there's a bit of a dead cold spot in my heart. Anyway, now we're going to dive into other stuff. So, like I said, it picks up 10 years later. Obi-Wan's on Tatooine, basically working as a day laborer in a meat packing facility thing. I don't know. But you watch him go through this routine probably 5 times, where he's cutting the meat, the whistle blows, he checks out, he goes and sees his camel-like animal, and then he goes and looks at Anakin, and then goes back to his house. And you see the rotation. Basically, the soulless life of Obi-Wan right now is pretty sad and horrible. And it's depressing. And you're just kind of in the depressing loop until you get to, backtrack slightly. So the Inquisitors show up. And the show starts, I'm sorry, I'm kind of all over the place. You get 4 minutes of catch up from the prequels. Then you pick up some new footage, basically after the issuance of Order 66, which was largely unnecessary. I don't know why that footage was there, but it was. And then jump to Tatooine. A ship's flying over a marketplace, lands in the marketplace, and off come the Inquisitors. And this is where the story really begins, because the Inquisitors hunt Jedi. That's their job. They are either fallen Jedi or just force-driven folk who's been, recruited by the Empire to hunt Jedi. They come to Tatooine, they heard rumors about a Jedi there, and they show up. So then this goes on for a little bit. You have the Grand Inquisitor, the 5th brother, the 3rd sister. 3rd sister is problematic. She was written, I think, very intentionally. Ryan Kinnell did a video on this, and you should watch that, for a specific purpose, to get a certain response out of the viewers. She's not a likable character, even for a villain, because Grand Inquisitor, you get him. He's cold, he's calculating, he's basically waiting for the Jedi to reveal themselves. He doesn't have to do a whole lot of hunting, because Jedi have an inherent need to do good. So they're going to pop up. If they see something wrong, you can pretty much find them. She's got a real hang-up, though. She wants to find Obi-Wan, and she feels she can do it better than anybody else, because that's the way the character is written. Although the actress herself has had some problems in the media, and you can look up what she has said. I'm not going to go into it. But the messaging that is related to this character is stuff that we've seen again and again in this era of entertainment. It's not a message that resonates well with a lot of fans. And it's stuff that immediately puts up a wall between Star Wars, or whatever, in this instance it's Star Wars, and the fan base. Some fans will love it. Don't know why, they will. A lot of fans are not. And so this one thing is going to be a talking point about the show where you're missing a lot of other things. So anyway, you jump to Alderaan, you meet young Leia. She is everything that a 10-year-old female character is written to be in modern times. She's beyond advanced for her age. She speaks like an adult, or better than adult. And you've seen this character. And I'm not talking about Leia, I've seen this cutout cliche version of a young female character now. And that's just something that Hollywood, again, has to do. They can't just be a regular kid. If it's a boy child, he's going to be dumb, goofy, eating bugs or whatever. It's a girl character. She's going to be reading Shakespeare at age 3. And that's modern entertainment. That just kind of is what it is. She's not terrible. She's not really dislikable. She has become the cliche kid, though. So it is what it is. Anyway, so Alderaan doesn't look bad. I'll give you that. Alderaan really doesn't look bad as far as Star Wars set goes. CGI is fine. The actual look of Alderaan is different. It's good. Costumes, Bail Organa and his wife and the kid are fine. Their guards are fine, and you've seen them in Star Wars. All the extras, though, and this is true in both episodes, all the extras have the same cast-off 1960s sci-fi look that I find completely unappealing. And that's not the way it's been in Star Wars forever. That's modern Star Wars. That's just what you get. So, precocious young Leia gets kidnapped. Bail calls out to his old buddy Obi-Wan for help, even though he knows he's in hiding. And, oh gosh, could this possibly be a trap? It's not hard to figure out. You don't need to be Sherlock Holmes to figure out the plot line here. I did it in about 4 seconds after this happened. And you're going to figure it out too. So again, we're in spoiler territory. So that's basically how episode 1. Gosh, are they trying to draw Obi-Wan out? So Obi-Wan reluctantly comes out. And he goes to Dayu is the name of the planet, which kind of looks like Las Vegas, which is the way Star Wars needs to portray its cities in the modern version of the film. It's all neon, looks a little bit like Blade Runner, except it's not Blade Runner, it's Star Wars. And, oh God, the costumes on this planet, though, Lord, they are bad. This is not even like good Doctor Who costumes. I was shocked. It's not good. I like Doctor Who, but it's not known for its effects, and Star Wars really should, you need to do better, Star Wars, and they're not. So there's a lot of running around once Obi-Wan shows up. He deals with some street urchins who he gets information from, which leads him to a grifter, pretending to be a Jedi who's making money off of people who he gets more information out of. And then he ends up at what I will call basically a future meth lab, although it's a long time ago on a planet far, far away, but so it's a space meth lab. Let's call it that. They're doing spice. You've heard about the spice before. And they're holding young Leia there, of course, and Flea and the Doctor Who-like villains who kidnapped her. And you'll see that in episode 1. That's when Leia gets kidnapped. It's Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers and a couple guys who look like from Doctor Who. Anyway, and it turns out, yes, spoilers again, yes, the third sister is the one who hired them. She knew that Bail and Obi-Wan were friends, and if Bail's daughter was kidnapped, he's going to reach out to his buddy, and she wants to get Obi-Wan. Hey, wow, amazing. You could have never seen this coming. A 4th grader could have written a more complicated plot, but did not. So Obi-Wan shows up at the meth lab, fights all the bounty hunters on the planet because the third sister has put a bounty out on him, despite the fact that the Grand Inquisitor has told her to back off because she's not very good at chain of command. She will do whatever she wants to do to meet her goals. Well, if you've ever been in an organization which requires you to follow leadership and you don't, then it's not necessarily good on you and it doesn't reflect well. Fine. So he fights all the bounty hunters. Yay. And then it comes down to a spaceport thing. Obi-Wan and young Leia are trying to get off the planet. And third sister, of course, shows up because you know she's going to. But the Grand Inquisitor follows. And there's a betrayal here, which was done pretty well. And then she lets Obi-Wan know that Lord Vader will be pleased that she has found him. Now, to you and I, it's like, huh? Okay. But somehow, Obi-Wan, over the last 10 years, was not aware that Anakin survived. He didn't know. Don't know how that's possible, because Vader was out doing Vader shit. I know he's on a desert planet in the Outer Rim. The news of Darth Vader, the Lord of the Sith, is not making its way to his ears. I find that completely improbable. Impossible, no, because almost nothing is, but I think it's a giant effing hole in the plot. So the episode closes with them flying off, and then a close up of Darth Vader unsuited in the tank. Well, no arm, so in the tank. And this is a shot we've seen in Rogue One done better. And that's the close. That's the end of the episode. So Vader is going to know that Obi-Wan's out there. Obi-Wan is now aware that Anakin, is alive and looking for him. And that's kind of it. I don't know how far the plot line goes. But again, the show, as much as I love the character of Obi-Wan, the show is largely unnecessary because you know how this ends. There's a lot of the little bits and pieces that are going to be interesting to watch. Maybe. But ultimately ends up on Tatooine 9 or 10 years later with Luke as an adult and Obi-Wan aging poorly. So, watch it, don't watch it. I would watch it just so you can have it in your head. Okay, this is what's going on. But I would wait. I would wait the 10 episodes. You don't have to, the 6 episodes. Like I said, 2 of them are out. There are only 4 more. There's only 4 more weeks of the show. I wanted to like it better than I did. Maybe it will get better. Maybe we'll see some interesting stuff. Right now, we're not there yet, and we only have 4 more episodes to go. That's my take on it. You can disagree, and maybe you loved it. I saw a lot of reviews that people really enjoyed it, and I was surprised. But I guess in the access media world, they want access. And if you give something a bad review, you're not going to get that. You're not just working out of the Empire Studios and trying to deliver an honest review. Anyway, that's it for now. I will probably see you on our normally weekly live cast with myself and John, the creative blue-collar guy, on John and Roman Solve the World's Problems. That's on Thursdays at 5. So for now, this has been Roman of the Empire, signing off. Be kind.